4 different sizes. This is the biggest one. That's the medium. A little smaller. And very small. Which one do you like the best?
The biggest.
You like the biggest one the best?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? Ah! So you want that really big one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty big. My daughter actually wants one of these to play with. So it's not going to get hooks. I'm going to make 2 of these eventually. I want to make the rainbow trout that my daughter picked out. She wants it to be a rainbow trout, but I want to make a brook trout for me and actually put hooks on it. But I'll probably make one of the smaller sizes for that, which would be a little more manageable for me, since I literally do not musky fish and I don't know of a good place that has large pike that are going to grab this. I need to pick some wood for this. I got to pick one. This is probably the piece right here. It's going to fit this giant thing. Onto the cutting. So I didn't do super great at this. When I finish sawing this, some of these are going to meet in the middle nicely, but some of these are way off. That's not going to come close to hitting together exactly right. I'll have to fix it in sanding. Good thing this one's only for display. I'll get it right on the next one. This tail's gonna be awfully skinny for wood. If this were going in the water, I would definitely do this in plastic instead of wood. Since it's a display piece, or a toy for my daughter rather, I might get away with wood, but who knows, I may end up chopping this off and doing it in plastic at some point, because this is gonna be super thin. Probably a high risk of it breaking off of there. much to remove with the sander. I'm going to have to saw. Well, originally, this was kind of an adult trout picture for the size eye ratio here, but my daughter, of course, would love a baby trout more than an adult trout. And I think I'm going to go with a bigger eye than I did here. Like a smaller trout would have a bigger eye to body ratio. Ooh, way too deep. These drill bits has never cut so well. All of a sudden, zoop, I'm gonna have to fill that in with some junk. Just kind of cover this with graphite. Cover this area. Now, when I press hard, I'm gonna transfer some pencil down. Pencil. Now I can clean this up. Of course, this is going to work the opposite way too, because I'm already covered in pencil. Now let's fix that eye. That stuff's awesome. Ah, every time. And now the scary part. I can recess these a little bit more so that the crack isn't quite as big. It's a little bit better. So I went a little bit overboard and I created some molds, and I ended up making some plastic versions of this guy too while I was at it. I'm gonna give my daughter the master, so this one's gonna get some weight in the belly, and it'll you know, float upright. She'll get to play with it, bathtub or wherever. I just found out that my plastic, I put a lot of weight in the belly so that he stays upright, but of course he sinks like a stone. Well, here's the thing. There's no weight in the tail. It sinks. This plastic sinks. So I'm never going to be able to make a floating bait or suspended bait with this plastic. It's always going to have to be wood for me until I can figure out a way of putting something hollow inside of this to make it buoyant. That would work if I could get something in there that's hollow. Bit bound up and it yanked it onto my hand almost. Oh, it did take a chip though. So I'm going to stick these parts together temporarily to make painting easier. That way I can just kind of paint right across as a whole and get like the stripes and stuff to line up perfectly without having to eyeball each individual piece. Okay, so for the first coat, the white, I'll probably leave them separated like this so I can squirt and get right in there and paint the whole piece white. Then jam them together when I want to do stripes and stuff like that. You're chewing a sucker on my video. Okay, let's just get a tiny bit, and then I'll practice a dot. See, that's all it needs to be. It's just gonna be little tiny dots like that. Is that gonna be cool? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just gonna get little dots. And it's just gonna be random. It doesn't need to be anything special about it. Some are big, some are small. That is gross.
I was purposely doing it.
Uh-huh.
For the lulz.
For the lulz. Okay. Got it? Very good. Doing awesome, baby. You can put some up on the fin too. That big fin, get some. Awesome. Make them super tiny towards the back of the fin, but a little bigger at the front of the fin. Very cool. Ooh, I almost set the camera in the paint. So I decided against doing the scales. I thought about doing some silver scales kind of over the top of all of this, but I'm just gonna go with simplicity, not overcomplicate this, especially, this is for my daughter. She really liked it the way it was. She didn't care that much, and we're just going for a cute little trout here for her to play with. So now let's get some clear coat on this. Gotta find out a good way to hang these individual pieces without them falling while I'm holding them and brushing them. So I just took some of these things I use as hangers, these wires, and I just kind of ever so slightly kinked the end just enough that when I jam it in there, it's a very tight fit. So this is not gonna fall off of here as I'm brushing it or when I hang it. Finally warm enough out here that I can actually do this in the garage. This stuff was getting solid on me out here before, and I had to do it in the basement. I have a feeling it's gonna take me a couple of different tries at this because I'm not gonna be able to paint 3 sections before this stuff starts hardening up on me. So I'm gonna do the large piece of the trout and then probably have to pull out a new brush and attack the smaller pieces. If this were meant for a muskie's mouth, I would definitely be doing this with epoxy instead of super glue. Doing a little emergency repair. Public service announcement. 5-minute epoxy was not meant to go in a super hot bathtub. Started bubbling a little bit coming off. Maybe I didn't let it dry long enough before letting her play with it. But it needs to be touched up now. All fixed. A little lumpier than before, but fixed.